All right, here's another segment of bodybuilders being vulnerable. And I kind of just want to touch on some of the reasons why people become bodybuilders and my experience and what I've noticed is that there's usually like three kinds of guys that get into bodybuilding. One, the guy that's trying to mend a broken heart. Two, the guy that was kind of always the scrawny nerd, not very popular type that kind of wanted to change his image to make him feel more confident and things of that nature. And the third type, I usually think it's usually like a jock kind of guy that was an athlete, was pretty good at every sport, and then, things didn't really turn out the way that they wanted to. Going pro didn't happen, or they had an injury that stopped them from performing athletically in whatever sport they thrived in. So these are the archetypes that I have noticed. This is not one size fits all, but this is the most common bodybuilders that I've come across of, and I'm actually a bodybuilder from mending a broken heart. So I didn't really get into fitness or bodybuilding until I had a real heartbreaking done on me and just put the fire and fuel under me to really get those gains, and I feel as if when you come from a place where you feel like like things just can't get any worse, where you're completely at the bottom, it makes, and also coming from like either getting picked on or getting picked on, being rejected, or having so many expectations of you, whether, for the jock types and the sports people, when you have so many high expectations and you want to meet those expectations, you want to exceed those expectations, the bottom will make you feel pressure. So all those scenarios will make you hypersensitive. And I don't think people realize how sensitive bodybuilders are. They wear their heart on their sleeve, and it's very hard for them to take jokes because they feel like they've always, been at people's expenses, whether it be a joke or expecting certain things of them. So I don't know if people know this, but bodybuilders are very sensitive. They, it's hard for them to take things with a grain of salt. They kind of like, it's kind of all or nothing. Because that's kind of the lifestyle we live. It's all or nothing. If we have to try to control every aspect of our life because we need to make sure we have our meals on time. We need to make sure that we stay away from stress because cortisol levels stop us from making gains and have us hold water, which is not something you want when you're getting ready for a bodybuilding competition. So all these things that you need to control, which we live in an environment and in a world that is not to be controlled is very difficult. So it makes controlling our emotions very, very rough, because we want to make sure everything is done perfectly, because it's all or nothing when it comes to making the physiques that we build and sculpt. And that's tough, because when you want to control things, it makes you have a pretty lonely lifestyle. You want to just stay home and make sure that you're not distracted by anything, or nothing, gets under your skin. So the price that we pay is a lot of depression, because we feel as if no one understands us, and feel like no one wants to understand us. Everybody thinks we have a chip on our shoulder, when we're just trying to regulate our lifestyle so we can be the best at our sport, And I wish that people could understand that we don't have as much at stake when it comes to our actual exercises than we do our personal lives. Because honestly, the exercises are the easy part, in regulating all the uncontrollables, and how it's entered our life is actually the most difficult part. The grind, the grind of working out and lifting the weights, that's the fun and easy part, honestly. That's that's like, that's playing the game, and then everything else is just a tedious and day in, day out, every second a part of who we are. And it's hard to be in a sport when your whole, basically everything that you do in your life counts. No alcohol, no hanging out late, because sleep and recovery is important. It gets lonely, and I think that people don't realize that every bodybuilder has this underlying feeling of sadness all the time. They can just get sad out of nowhere all the time. It's just something that comes with the territory, from being, sensitive guys, from being rejected, being sensitive from being made fun of, from being sensitive from not meeting other people's expectations, and we try our best to stay happy and find the little things in prep or in our training to put smiles on our face, but it's tough when 24/7, day after day, week to week, month to month, year after year, you have to be on, and you have to be disciplined, and you have to not let those demons and sadness eat at you, you know. And then it's also hard when, people take us lightly. They think that's all we care about because that's all we do. No, it's not that that's all we care about. It's just like all we can care about if we want to have a future or actually obtain the goals that we want. And it's a huge sacrifice. And, it has a toll on the mind, body, and the soul. And we just want to be treated like everybody else that's aspiring to be great, and not be stigmatized as these big, angry, selfish people. We're a lot more than that. And if you ever actually talk to a bodybuilder, because people have this stigma, they're the nicest people in the world. And they're also usually the most eclectic people in the world, because people just see them as this, macho, angry, I need to lift the weights. No, it's like that's our outlet from the sadness that's underlining, like hovering above us all the time. You know what I mean? That's how we power through that. And because people only see that and see how we're, using working out and sculpting our bodies as an escape from our demons, people don't even take the time to think about what we like. You know what I mean? Bodybuilders, they love anime, they love wrestling, they love acting, they love movies, they love art, because sculpting your body the way that we do is kind of artistry in a sense. It's poetry in motion. We see our lives and our discipline all in our bodies. And in order to do something like that, you have to be so in tune to everything that's happening in the world. And it makes us very interesting people. Like that we are into so many things, and we have so many different hobbies and interests, but people just they only want to talk to us about our muscles because that's immediately what they see. And I just would like for people to have a little more understanding that we are more than just our muscles, and there is a story behind all our muscles. And without those stories, we wouldn't have those muscles. So before you judge us, get to know us.